You are now rocking with the number one station in the U.S. Virgin Islands, 1013 Row FM, and you are listening to a live broadcast of A Different Day with Jah and
Neci?
Neci, the lovely Neci, who try and recover with her knees right now.
Listen.
What up, Tina? Who else we got in the studio with us?
Hey, you got your favorite East Side man. Daren is in the building. I am here.
We gonna let you have that there. I see East been repping hard. Big up Soul Maria Ramos for doing her.
Hey!
Big up. East girls repping. East running things right now, even though they were in it. So why you all here today, Daren? You want to tell the people hot tub that? What we talking about? What hot tub?
Oh, top that. What that's supposed to mean?
Yeah,
I don't want to know what it's supposed to mean. Let's not find out.
Hey,
we've brought on Daren today because one thing Daren is good at is VI history and what going on in the VI. So we want to do a carnival recap before he does his carnival recap on Clubhouse. So we had to invite the man on.
hey, I appreciate the invite.
You don't know it's all love.
Welcome.
Hey, well, we got to talk to the veteran first. Who's that girl you see? Christmas. So please, what was the number one event for Crucian Christmas Festival?
That's a hard question. There were a lot of great events. The promoters really put together a very eclectic, unique experience. I didn't feel like there was no two events I've been to that felt like they were the same.
Okay. Eclectic.
And that's a hard thing to do. There was I no event I've been to, I felt like this is the same as this one yesterday, or I should have stayed home, or I shouldn't go to that one. I did not have that feeling. I don't know about you, Daren, but that's a big up to the promoters for real.
Hey, that's a big one you just pulled me. So I got plugged the thesaurus for this one.
Eclectic. That's something you don't hear all the time. Daren, were you out and about in these streets? I know she was. What about you?
I was out and about in these streets. I actually feel the same way too. It had one. We won't probably get into it later. That was a little got a little dicey towards the end. Folks are wailing out, but overall, I would say it was a good experience. I know, especially I've been hearing some really good things about some of the other events, but every other event outside of of course, the village and stuff, vibe. It was well attended. I think I would say this one was a successful one.
You said outside of the village. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it just mean like like she was saying, like the promoted events those were really good. I must admit they were really good.
Adrina says, glad to see y'all safe and well. Yeah, we are.
What's good night, Adrina?
Hi. I mean, safe is one thing. Well,
she there.
Yeah,
here.
some of us limping still, man. Like my hammies tight bud, my son.
One of these days, you're gonna admit that you're getting old, but we're gonna lose.
I'll admit, hey, the 35 and plus club. Listen, it got come with a lot of stretching and yoga and all that kind of stuff. Listen, nobody me the 30 plus club when they went home from parade, they didn't rub icy hot, tiger bomb, Bengay, and all the new one I didn't even know about was biofreeze. Yeah, we were rubbing that.
Oh, you
anybody that says so, anybody that's any different, they capping bud.
Listen, if you're using biofreeze, it's time to check your prostate. All right. Just saying. But first question for the veterans: how would you rate this year's Crucian Christmas Festival on a scale of 1 to 10? Talk to me.
I'm gonna let Nisi go first.
Are we just talking everything together, all the promoted events, or just the festival village?
We talking overall, everything that was considered Crucian Christmas Festival.
I will give it a solid 8 because we're
Wow.
including. Because if you're including everything, including the events, the promoted events, right? Because there was not a promoted event I didn't go to that I didn't have a great experience. So
Okay.
I can't diminish the great experience from that. And then so if you're that for me, I would just give those an 8 period on its own. So overall for me, I would just say it's an 8 because I would give the promoted events an 8. Like from the
Um,
day parties, like you
Good.
had day parties that run into evening parties, that some parties started later. Camel Fest started at midnight. Like they didn't open them doors till 12 to 8 a.m. Like you can't, there was so much different the soca wine, like you just so many different experiences that you could pick and choose where you wanted to go to. And to me, they were very well attended. And it just seemed like everybody really made an effort to come out and have a good time.
That's what's up. Okay, so let's establish that first, right? The promoted shows. Do we consider them a part of Crucian Christmas Festival?
You have
Yes,
to, in a
you have
sense,
to.
yeah.
All right. Hey, look who in the chat. We got Big Boss Lady Lima Rowe. Good afternoon. Good
Hey,
afternoon.
Big
boss
ups to
lady.
big ups to Lima.
Commenter said, "Are you?" So you know she from rock. Are you old? Are you in your 20s? Linda
Hey,
Brooks. Big up Linda Brooks. She there in the building. That's what's up.
big
She
up
looked
Nikki.
amazing on the road yesterday. Yes, she did.
Hey, that's why I know if that song will win room.
When does
That that Phoenix song was strong enough.
when does that come out? The results.
I think
That's
tonight.
a good song. Tonight, maybe, yeah. Or tomorrow, whatever case, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right, so let me give my
what's your rating?
so and why I talk about my rating is the build up towards festival. So yeah, I include that as well. I
Mm.
was yeah, because it did impact stuff. So there was a couple of events, I'm gonna call it the events, that because things didn't pan out the way they normally accustomed to do, it kind of shifted the way that they did stuff. So I would say I would give it a 7, only for the fact that I know what issues that was there was the lineups not being released. I know I have known a good significant amount of people didn't decide to travel because of it. So for me, the preparation was a big part of it. But like you said, you see the events was um the village performances were great. I think one of the issues that kind of just a little bit affected stuff was just how they arranged for like the pageants, the calypso show, and then that band clash kind of shifted things a little bit. But I think the reason I give it a 7 is just the preparation to it. I know a lot of people had to make some tough decisions, and because they couldn't like plan their stuff because people have jobs, they got families, they may not be able entire 26 to the fort or whatever, and they had to make a tough choice, and it's because we weren't ultimately prepared for such said carnival. But with all being said, um the what we kind of expected to the stuff that was in the happening before, it did turn out great, turn it better than I expected, but I'll give it overall a 7.
Okay.
All right. Nisi, what do you think about what he said about the lead up? Because you didn't really talk about the lead up.
No, because we just said the experience. To me, the experience is what actually happened. Now, the lead up is, of course, that plays a role. That plays an intricate part. I understand that. I do understand some people want to know who the lineup is before they travel. For me, either I come in or mean come in. Like the lineup gonna be the lineup. Not that it's not important. Not that I don't need to know because I want to know, and I want to know when it's going to the village, and I want to know. But if your intent is to come and have fun and have and play mass or whatever that is, I come in. But I do agree that factoring in the lineup does play a role, especially like last year. We knew very early who was performing in the village. We had an early lineup. I think it was like early October, if I'm not mistaken. We had the lineups out. This year it was very much into December. We're getting the lineup information. I don't work behind the scenes, so I don't know why that happened this year, particularly versus compared to last year. But it was a big thing. I won't undermine that. But being what it is, I stand on my score because I do think it was from the different things collectively, there were a lot of good events this year.
That's what's up. Now, the chat may be wondering, Ja, why you ain't weighing in? Because for one, I'm not a
Bi-
federal
mm,
artist. For two,
mm,
I did not make it. Nisi knows why. I didn't make it for Carnival. I apologize.
mm.
All right. God, I apologize. I didn't make it.
If I had $5 for every time somebody asked me, "DC with Ja," listen, I could have had my own troop in the parade. I could have sponsored a whole troop, a whole section if I needed to. Somebody even yelled from my car, like, "Nisi when Ja coming." I didn't even know who do it. I still don't even know who he was yelling after me. But I don't know. He just joking. And one
Wow.
year we're gonna catch you. One year we're gonna catch you home and he gonna got fed like he gonna got fed the real way, non-stop. We doing it. Alice be in bed by 9 o'clock. Save it. You know what I
10
mean?
o'clock.
Like, yeah.
It's 10 o'clock. Thank you. Don't do that.
Sir, one year we're gonna get you. And ain't no excuse. I want to hear nothing.
All right, man. Hey, we got more to come on a different day with Ja and Nisi. We got Daren in the building. Date like
Hey.
that. We're going to get into some comments that have been spreading concerning Marshall Montano and some other things. Keep it locked.
Oh yeah.
Number one station, 1013 Ro FM. You had to do that, didn't you? That was necessary, wasn't it?
Was it? Was it really?
Well, anyway, from what I've seen, I can't. It's hard to judge when you're not there. You check what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you're only
One
getting clickbaits.
exactly. One thing
Mhm.
about people too, they gonna complain, right? So you don't want to get sucked in to the complaints because then you already have a negative overview, but you're not there. So I don't even really want to weigh in for you.
I mean, you can win. I think it's, you have your outside perspective of what you're seeing. There's a lot of live stream events. I don't know if you checked out the village lineup events. They, of course, everyone's going to complain. Nothing's going to go 100% to everyone's satisfaction. That's unreal. The goal is, I think, for any promoter is to generally try to put on a show that most people will enjoy. And I think I don't, I mean, I didn't go to every single event, but the ones I did go to, I think that they made a great effort trying to ensure that they thought about everyone as much as possible and to be as inclusive with everyone. And I've seen it. There's always hiccups. If you've ever put on a show, if you ever planned a party, if you ever done any of those things, and I've done many, I know that behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that can go wrong and does go wrong. And the goal is to minimize it as much as possible to avoid it impacting your show. And I think that they did a good job for the most part, trying to do that.
Uh-huh.
So you gave us those answers. Now we're gonna circle back around. What was your favorite event? What was the one that gonna stand out and I gotta go again? Hey, I don't like Adamo, should have been back with Adamo and friends. But anyway, what was your
There was a lot of things I would have loved to see still. Like you said, the Adam One Friends. I had loved the ladies' night last year. That was dope. I don't know why we didn't have a ladies' night this year, but I had loved the ladies' night last year. Um, my favorite event period, or just like, I don't have one favorite one though. That's hard to say.
I could just say one. Um what's your favorite? Okay, let's chop it up. What was your favorite festival as far as village event? What was your favorite promoted event?
My f- uh, my favorite village event would have to. I have two,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you why. My favorite event was I loved reggae night because it's just a different vibe,
Hmm.
and you gotta be in village night for reggae night to understand the vibe.
That was the most packed
Like
night I saw. Like just the overview, that was the most packed night they had.
it usually is. I mean, but it's such a different vibe. But I love it. But my favorite event would have to been last night with Pumpa to see him back in the village, back on the stage, doing what he loves to do for the VI people. Like and you felt it in your spirit. Like if you was there, you felt the energy that
Uh,
Pumpa put out last night, being back on the stage. And you also saw he got to perform with his idol. He's always talked about Marshall being his idol and how much he mimics his music and his career after him. And you could see the boy, the childhood boy in him on stage with Marshall. You could see like living out that dream in person. That was so amazing to witness. Like I saw it, I felt it. I kudos to him for being able to do that on St. Croix for Crucian Christmas Festival. Because he could have done it in Trinidad, but it happened here in St. Croix. So you can't, I don't want to undermine the tone of that. Like he got to live out his dream at home on St. Croix stage with his idol. That was great to see. Kudos to Pumpa. We love you. We respect you. You're freaking dope.
that's the energy god for real. He don't
That
say the name
he
from Ella.
is.
Yeah.
He is.
Let's go, Darren. What you gotta say?
Hey, my favorite village performance, it gotta be Kes. Like I don't think nothing match Kes performance. I think I even said it on Facebook. Like it felt like a spiritual experience. Like this
Mm,
man, like the way he will perform it, and
hmm
it wasn't just the Kes songs; it was the other songs, and it was just like wow, it wasn't so much. It was just energy. It was just the whole flow of it. Like I wasn't on. Like I was like, damn, that might be one of the performances I've ever seen.
Was that
And
your first time seeing them?
no, I think this one was even
Okay.
better than the last time. Like, I'll admit, I watch it from home. I tried to watch it in the village. I was at mine. I went to the village. I didn't have much rest between both days. 'Cause it was look jam the night before. I was in the village and the check engine light come on, and I had to go home.
Man,
The check engine night on your knees or on your
The
couch?
whole body, the whole body. It was yeah, but especially the knees and the feet. It was like, yeah, big money gotta go home. You gotta take that nice drive to the east side. And yeah, but I watch it from home. And like I said, that was powerful. That was
I
one of the
loved
best
it too.
performances.
He said it was a spiritual event. He said it was spiritual for him.
That
That's
was
deep.
yeah. It
And
was a vibe. No, it was amazing. I've seen Cats perform quite a few times. So for me, I didn't pick that as my favorite because I've seen him done that. And he always does it
Okay.
on that level. Like what was that? Wait.
Martha said it might this might need an oil change dress.
Listen, alignment and everything. Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Wow.
Go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, but I've seen cats perform many times, and they always perform on that level. So I had no doubt that whenever, like, there's certain bands or people who, when they come to perform, could always have my money because I know the quality of the output they're going to give, and Kes does that consistently. So for me, I knew that was going to happen. So I enjoyed it, but I mean, having I picked Reggae Night because if you're in the village, you feel the vibration of the whole thing. And then we had two local perform. We had Rima. She performed amazing. Congrats to her. I love her performance. And I was almost like, that's she a local. She sang from St. Croix. Like I loved it. She did an amazing job. But I think that it was really good. For just the vibe that you felt the vibe in the village. You have to be in it to feel it. That's just my take on it.
That's what's
So,
up.
Nisi, you sure wasn't a feeling too?
Listen, when I get home, I want you miss I want high like the sky. I want high like space.
Hey, listen,
Okay.
I actually was there that night, but I was there to a certain person special, So I wasn't in the crowd or whatever. But when I passed through, yeah, stuck frankincense and myrrh,
Daren, I
straight
see
up.
you. What special sauce you talking about?
Don't worry about that. Then.
Uh, Darren, you're
Are
a
we gonna
wild
do
boy.
this? Okay, no problem.
A wild boy. So moving on. I think it was like from what I've seen, the feedback has either been Marshall Montano or Kess. Like
Mhm.
either one, it was like boom. But we're
Hmm.
gonna get this comment as soon as we come back off the break though, because I wanna get into this because Enrique Schuster is saying reggae night should not be the day before adult parade due to the many participants in the parade. We're gonna touch on that when we get back live on the radio. I
I
want
agree.
what you think about this
I
one.
disagree.
I, I agree.
Hold it. Let's go back live. You are now rocking with the best, the number one station in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Thanks for tuning in to a different day with Jah and
Nisi's here. Hey.
thank you. We're on another live broadcast, and we got Daren Georges in the building.
What's up? What's up? Everybody favorite East Side guy.
Hold your applause. So yeah, what we were talking about before the break, we were rating the Crucian Christmas Festival from 1 to 10. Nisi gave it a 8 overall. Darren gave it a 7. All right. Now, during the break, we were kind of talking because you can also tune in to what is affectionately known as Ro FM Plus, where you can tap into our comments, and there's plenty of behind the scenes commentary and debate. So the next question was, what was your favorite event this festival at the village? So Nisi has said that you have loved the reggae night, right?
I picked two. I picked the Reggae and I picked Pumpa, specifically Pumpa because he was returned back to the stage. And he also got to perform with his idol, and I think that was an amazing thing to witness.
And Darren, you had said Kess.
Yeah, as I guess.
It was a spiritual moment for Darren. You hear me?
Yeah, I felt spiritual, man. I ain't even gonna lie.
What's funny is I think you're not the only one that might say that because from the commentary that I was seeing, it seemed like it was either Kess for me or Marshall Montano. But Pumpa
Mm-hmm.
always gets love and he always brings the energy. So we gotta big up this man because he from home. Now, the reggae night. So a commenter says reggae night should not be the day before adult parade due to the many participants in the parade. What say you guys?
I'm gonna let Darren go first on this.
I actually agree with it. I actually agree with it. Because matter of fact, I think it went late, so it was like 1 o'clock, whatever. And then, of course, you get for the parade. The guys they just basically just put on a costume, whatever. But they got deal with the hair, the makeup, and all that kind of stuff. But it's like a struggle to really think about it. So I will agree with that. I would agree. I think it should be either the night before Trans Parade. I'm not saying to take away from the Trans experience, but yeah, I would agree with that. I actually agree.
Okay. Nisi, what do you think?
Before I give what I think, what would you replace it with since you agree it shouldn't be the day before adults parade? And think of the line
Um,
think of the lineup in hold. What would you replace Reggae Night with the night before adults parade?
I would say Latin night. I would say Latin night. And there's no shade on Latin night. I actually like Latin night, but I just think of like the vibe of it is a little different. So yeah, I could probably see Latin night or um hmm, yeah, Latin night. There we go. We'll go with Latin night.
Okay. Okay. And that's your opinion. Okay. Nice. Fine,
So
fix.
first, maybe clear this up for me, right? It should not be the reggae night should not be the day before adult parade due to the many participants in the parade. So there are they saying that reggae night gonna be so jam packed, like it gonna be
No, like reggae night was packed. Like that was definitely the biggest night for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, I seen that. So how does that affect the adult parade? What's the issue with it connecting?
No, it's just that everybody's going to be out, so it's like, and then you everybody was really waiting for Silva. So yeah. Oh, where's that feedback coming from?
So did it affect the turnout? Y'all went to adult parade, right?
I
Did it
don't no, I don't think it affected turnout. I think it was um more about just how much people have to now go to reggae night and then now go and get themselves prepped for parade next day. Cause we talking about I know makeup sessions that started from 6 o'clock in the morning of parade day. So you see what I'm saying? Like you leave reggae night maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, and you got now double back and get up from 6 o'clock to start getting ready. Cause you know it's makeup, all of that stuff. That's why it could be a little tough.
commenter says
Yeah.
reggae night used to go past 1 a.m. So many were actually complaining about being tired. But Nisi, you say you disagree. Why is that?
I absolutely disagree. I think Reggae Night is definitely taps into our Rastafarian community, and they come out there and support that night on a scale like we don't, and that's primarily who's out there. It also attracts a lot of our white constituents. They love reggae music, and there was a lot of them at the village on Reggae Night as well. But I don't that crowd is not who's in the parade. Like our Rastafarian community aren't the ones participating in the actual parade. Now, some of us are there who does participate in the parade, of course, but that's primarily who's at reggae night. If you was there and you saw and you were wandering around, that's who was out there. But that's not who translates into what you see on the parade route. So I wouldn't put those two things hand in hand together. Yes, reggae night runs late, but that wasn't the only night that ran late in the village. I think they finished at 2 o'clock. A couple of the other nights finished just before 2 a.m. So consistently, most of the nights ended about between 1 and 2 a.m. Every night.
That's a
A
valid.
variation of what time it was. That's what time the village ended almost every night. So to me, it's a play on what you want to go to and what you want to support. But that's not to me. That's not the people who were on the parade route for adults parade.
I think that's a valid point. Because if you place it on a different night, then you take away from the, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a valid point because every night was scheduled to end around 1. If I'm
Correct. And
so
also, they're not playing hype calypso soca music. You're playing reggae music. So you're not jumping up and waving and fetting, and you're really in a conscious mode of whatever the reggae artists are performing. And some of it is upbeat, don't get me wrong. But you're not doing the cultural component of it that night either. So you could stand up there and just rock to the music and conserve your energy for the parade route. You're not waving flags and jumping left to right and balancing and you're not doing any of those things at reggae night. So for me, I don't agree with it for that purpose.
scanting take a lot of energy.
I want to say,
That is high
It
energy.
does, but is every song like that? No, and every song wasn't like that either. But soca music consistently, every song is upbeat. So I get it. So, yeah, SZA was upbeat, but everyone who performed wasn't upbeat either. If it was like a cultural night, like a Calypso Monarch night or something, they're all singing upbeat Calypso songs to get the crowd moving and grooving. So for the most part, that's what you're doing all night. SZA was upbeat. He performed amazing. That show was fire. Luciano was a great performance. I loved it. It wasn't all upbeat, but you definitely felt into it. Rima did a great job. I think that Jaman, or I think his name is Jaman. I'm saying it wrong. Sorry, from St. Thomas performed well too. There was some upbeat to it, but it wasn't consistently upbeat all night,
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
true.
got you. Valid points.
Yeah, solid point. So I don't you can't disagree straight off. It's just pretty much what you prefer. Both of y'all made some good points on that day. But we do need to figure out how to increase participation for the children's parade. That's consistently been a theme.
Well, actually, this year was actually better, you know.
It was okay.
Yeah,
Good.
man.
What do you think was something different? What changed?
There was a couple of troops. Like there was actually a couple of children's troop that was there, and they had attendance. I definitely saw parents on the road, you know, supporting the kids. So I think there's definitely I think there's that is the trend is going up, right? Because I think we've been talking about this. Nobody's trying out to insurance parade, so now they're showing up. So what we gotta do is we make sure that we support it going forward. What I'd like to see more of is really the schools trying to get the kids to have, you know, go back to having those school troops or whatever. But if we could see it and add just a touch more culture to it, we back to where we were before.
True. I wonder why they stopped that though. I wonder what changed that the troops like they stopped doing the children's troops like that for the
I mean,
schools.
it's fun. It's all funding, right? So I don't want to undermine just, I'm a big advocate of Children's Parade. I came home from Camelfed at like after 7 a.m. and took a power nap and went Children's Parade because I'm not missing the Children's Parade for nobody's business. Okay. I was out there supporting the kids. Jah, that's my thing. I advocate for the kids. I was out there for them children. But
Me,
I don't want to undermine that funding is an issue.
but go ahead. Going
You
home
heard
at
me.
you
You heard
did
me
great.
at sunrise.
That's what's up.
Bakery stop on the way. Get me some hot bush tea and a titty bread and some cheese and a power nap and out to support the kids. Luckily, they started at 12. The parade started at 12 and not 11 or 10 a.m. like they normally do. So
Basically,
that
yeah.
that was helpful as well. But I will say funding has to be is an issue. I don't. My thing is, I don't know if we need to just appropriate funds for all the schools so that they have some type of base funding to start troops with, whatever that value amount is. And I think we need to tap into our business community to start sponsoring schools. And on top of that, so these schools, these children can be on the road. I think that I agree with Darren that there was a better turnout in terms of participation and viewership at the parade. That person, somebody posted a video, but we don't support the kids. The parade didn't start till 12. I don't know why they picked that video so early, trying to bash it like nobody was there. But the parade had a lot of attendance, and thanks to everyone that came out to support the kids. But I also like agree they were on the road. But I want to big up. Let me tell you something. Juanita Garden Troop, my alma mater, that's my school I graduated from. Them children was on fire from the top of the hill to the judges stand. Energy on 100. I ain't never seen no troop come on the road like that, full of energy the whole way. Them trying had me jumping, screaming, yelling, shouting. I loved it. Juanita Garden, big up on yourself. I did amazing. I loved it.
I love
Not
it.
the other trips they didn't do good, but they were just like, there was just I don't know if it was just excitement, like we on the parade route, we here. They did amazing.
Hey,
Dude.
I gotta say, Rising Stars, like they were punging and they were jumping. So and I gotta say, big respect to Wayne Garden. There was a new troop. I
Mm-hmm.
forget the name. It was they were really good. They had a nice little costume, nothing too crazy. I like
Mm-hmm.
that too. So say it to the point in EC, and I don't know if this really got fallen. And again, let me make sure I say this: the disclaimer: we're not blaming anybody, and we're not saying nobody works hard. We're just giving things that could help to improve. So let's start off with there. But like, then tap into the business community, right? You have a whole fiscal year. Tap into the business community, have them adopt a school, set a budget that will work, and have them. We have so many companies that give away money throughout the year. Now that the festival has ended, start from now so that when we reach this point next year, that we could get all the schools out and we could go to go.
That's an
Yeah.
idea, I think.
Yeah.
Idea.
Yep, funding, but funding is an issue. And I know we didn't have any participation from the schools in St. Thomas either. Usually we have St. Thomas schools come over and are in the parade too. And I didn't see that happen.
You're
But
right about
besides
that.
But besides that, we did still have a good turnout. And then there was also the return of Sparkle Light Majorettes who were on the road as well too. So there was also, and there's a second majorette troop that was on the road. They were on the road years ago, but now they've, I guess, reorganized and now they're back. So I'm glad to see that we have another majorette troop back on the road. So there was a lot of new things on the road too, and I just hope that they continue to build on it. I hope they continue to expand on it. And I had love to see you see the little Mokojumbi them? The sticks were so little. They were so cute. The little kids were out on the Mokojumbi. And before I finish, the dads then were walking the parade route with the kids. And big up our VI father them. They were out in the streets with the children. I loved it.
Vanessa Lewis says all the children they did a fantastic job. Hey,
They
big up
sure
the
did.
and the
They
parents.
did.
They spent this thing. Big up the VI fathers, like Nisi said. We got give kudos where it's due. Don't just bash
Mhm.
them when they don't show up and not say,
No, them dads were out there in the t-shirts. They were out there keeping the children organized. And here's my one niche with the children's parade. And I don't and we need to get some of the, not, I don't want to say it in a, make it sound badly, but the children, there was too many parents throughout the troops, and there was a lot of photographers complaining about not being able to capture pictures because when the children are performing, and I'm not saying that the parents weren't doing something like their job and giving the kids ice and making sure they're okay. That has to happen. I respect that. But a lot of photographers, a few of the photographers, let me not say a lot, a few of them, they had to really get into the troops just to capture some snaps of the kids, because there was a lot of bystanders as well saying like they couldn't get pictures of the kids because of how the parents were lined up on the road with the children. So I don't know what we can do for that aspect of it, but that was a common theme that I did hear and was this what's being discussed on the road. So just a thought of, when the kids stop, of course we got to tend to them, but when they're moving and dancing, like, hopefully the parents can be on the side, out the way, on the back or whatever, give them a few minutes and come back and check later. But that was just my only little thing that I noticed. Darren, what did you think about that?
So I think a lot of that is because of what time the parade starts. Because
Mm-hmm.
the parade starts basically at high day. So
Mm-hmm.
I think started later. Like I think it was like 1:30 it started. So we gotta be mindful of that, especially with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because we us hardback adults we could do it, right? We'll suffer through it. But the kids, we gotta be a little bit more cognizant about them.
not
I
sure
would
how many
I would
people.
like for it to start earlier if possible. But yeah, I think that's a part of it too.
They're gonna run through that midday sun regardless. I'm not saying that the parents weren't doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying the sun wasn't hot and they had to make sure those kids have to be checked on. They have to be giving ice and different things to keep them throughout the route. It is hot. They have to be. I've walked the parade route with troops with children. I totally understand. My kids have been in the parade. I know what it takes for that to happen. I'm not undermining any of that. My only thing is that there should be a point, even if it's like a 5 minute when they're performing one of the songs that they're doing to, that the parents are off on the side so that they can do the performance, and then they come when the song is over. You go back and you check on the babies again, unless somebody needs to be tended to while they're hold on while they're doing it. I am just saying that it from it just looks clustery like this is what I'm saying. And you want to give the children an opportunity to shine. And they did shine and they did an amazing job. And all the kids made it safely down the road. And I'm very happy for that. I'm just saying that that seemed to have been a theme that I was hearing walking the route with and interacting with people. That was a common theme I heard about. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Before you go, Darren, let's answer this question. Charisma Nibs is asking local businesses adopt schools to sponsor. What does that mean?
So yeah, so we're just saying that we
I think
have.
he had mentioned, Darren, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say like if the Department of Education or whoever the organization, there's a lot of
I think
businesses that have to give money. You guys can hear me?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of business community that have to, give, have to do sponsorships and giveaways throughout the year. So instead of them, doing
Yeah, you're
it
kind
when
of going in
everybody's
and out a
coming to
little.
work, you can.
Hearing him fine.
Okay, so I'll continue. So it says that you have these businesses and in their community and stuff that have to do these giveaways. So instead of them have to do these scattered giveaways and stuff, why not organize it so that you could have business go to certain schools and you could set a budget so that way you could get the money, get the funding right away before the fiscal year ends. So you have that, and then now we can now arrange for parades, costumes, trucks, all that sound systems, all that stuff. That's what I was talking about. But I was gonna say to your point, Nisi, I think one of those things we can do is have photos stations, so that way when
One
you
more. Keep it locked right here on 1013 Row FM. Next up, we got Hard from Armani and DJ Mac. This is the number one U.S. Virgin Islands radio station, and you're listening to A Different Day with Jah and Neci. Go ahead, my bad, my bad. Go ahead.
no, no, I just wanted my audio was breaking up.
I'm hearing you fine.
Okay, so yeah, I was just saying that they have photo stations,
Uh-uh.
so that at certain points they could have places that they know. Okay, we come to this photo station, gotta take pics. Let's fall back for a little bit, let them do the photos, the videos, and then proceed going forward.
So they have to leave the parade route to do the photo station thing and then get back.
No, they're just for the parents to like fall back, so they're not in the way of the photos and the videos.
Is it me? Oh, you guys breaking out.
It's you. You want to come out and go back in? You want to come out and go back in, Nisi?
No, keep going. It seems like I can hear you now.
All right.
Or maybe.
Commenter says we need to have all our DJs play all the local artists' new songs that they put out for festival. Is it? I'm assuming it's more involved to even get your song played first. You know what I'm saying? What I don't know. Hear me walking walking for the radio station. I don't know.
I think that the songs need to be released earlier.
I
Because these kids have to create routines to these songs. And as far as like even like with Steel Pan, like when we did Steel Pan, when I did Steel Pan and these kids do Steel Pan, they have to break those songs down and then teach it to the kids. It takes a few weeks to teach these kids to play these songs that's being released. So the songs have to be out early enough where you can teach these kids how to make these routines and to play it on pan or whatever else to go down the road. So releasing songs in early December is not enough time for these kids to learn routines to these songs. Because there was a lot, I'm telling you, there was a lot of international songs on the road and not enough local songs being played on the road.
Let me
I
let me
have
ask.
I agree with Nisi, right? And I have a little bit of a controversial take.
Go ahead.
If you want your songs to be played, it got to sound better.
The people need to choose if it sounds better or not, though. We need to hear it. You don't think so?
All I know, and I know Nisi know this, the one song we were hearing the whole time. I know you will find someone else. The whole parade, I was hearing that. The whole parade, Juve. That might as well be the road march at this point.
And Whistle by Triple K, Work by Triple K.
That's true. That's true. I ain't gonna lie. This Buyana took over this festival season. It was Buyan. I'm not gonna lie.
So what do we do there? Because it's like the Virgin Islands is adapting and integrating Bouillon. So can we really call it international taking over? Because it seemed like who it was I can't remember that usual Rasta man that made a Bouillon song and now Hunter got a Bouillon song. Like, can we really say that though?
But I think, if anything, I'm not mistaken, Buyang has our influence in it too. Say it's not really an international song per se, because we have influence in it. That part, Buyang partially came from us.
Bush, how explain that one there? So what?
No, Booyah. Like if you notice, some a lot of the Booyah artists they don't collaborate with our local artists. Like if you don't know if you know, everybody's been noticing, but our music, if whether Bram or whatever, has been influencing the other soca songs. We are influencing the Caribbean. We touching like even like Trinidad. You know they started to sound like us now too. So it's like we have influence in that. Well, we have real estate in it, and then like I said, the biggest part is we have to put out quality songs. Like there's some songs is like okay that's cool, but nobody like I being honest like some songs sound cool, but nobody's really playing that on the road. Like raise our level of quality. If you want to compete in the not just in the VI but just around the world.
And William says it's a collaboration. I don't mind collaborating. You know what I'm saying? I think collaboration is how we take things to the next level, especially as the Caribbean as a whole. And I do understand what you're saying, Darren, because like we need to hold our own space though. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? When it comes to music, we need to have our own. I think it is funny. Somebody I made a post saying basically like the VI is the only place where they showcase other people's culture to showcase VI culture. And to in a sense, it's true. I know what they're talking about because it seems like we don't tap into our local artists, producers, and stuff enough when we're trying to showcase our own culture. You know, people want big names to come in and stuff like that there. So we need to learn where the line is between collaboration and, in a sense, colonization. What do you think?
Oh,
DC,
no, let DC go.
DC, you could hear?
Yeah, I could hear.
What do you think about that?
I think that if for anyone who hasn't traveled to other Caribbean islands to their actual carnivals, that it is a collaborative effort. I have been to a few carnivals, and there's always other artists from other islands performing at their carnivals as well. But to your point too, they also do showcase their local artists as well. So that has to be primary and always at the forefront. But what I also want to say is that we have to also put up music that we can consistently play, because that there's two different things. Because you can put out a great song, but is it something we can play on the road for children to perform to and dance to? Can it be transposed into something else musically, like for the steel pans, and kind of routine be made to it? Some of the songs are great, and we do have great, clean music, but some of the songs aren't that appropriate for kids to be dancing down the road to as well. So we have to be able to do the both things, because you're catering to your adult group, but you also have to cater. There's a children community that listens to our cultural songs, that we have to be able to give them music to, that they can perform to as well. And I'm not saying that we haven't. I'm just saying that on the scale of things, one is higher than the other.
Mhm.
And that's why sometimes when the road march songs are announced and who wins, not that the person doesn't deserve to win, we don't think about what goes in to making a contender song and what the kids need to be able to do with these songs to promote it on the road for road march to win, to be a road march winner.
Okay. Uh,
I agree. I agree. Is it really comes down to like I said, it comes down to the quality of the music, not just putting out something that you think people are gonna like. Is about can the kids appreciate it? Can you really put a dance routine to it? Does it even tell a story unless you just repeating the same thing all the time? And and then also we gotta remember it's for a certain space. You can't put Bram and then expect everybody to vibe to it. It doesn't work that way. It is Bram is really meant for a jam, not
yeah.
to be a radio
Correct.
song.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But I
you
do
said,
agree we need to play our I did not hear, I barely heard any of our VI released music being played collectively anywhere. I mean, I heard it, but not consistently and collectively being played throughout the season.
And that's why I think like Nikki because you know that her song had a message, and it had the rhythm. You could have dance to it. It had a complete package, right? So that's why I really believe she has a strong chance to win the room match.
We're gonna find out hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
That's why school music programs are so important, and tourism and Department of Education need to do better to support the kids. Not only them, we gotta hold ourselves accountable too. If you're a parent, you gotta be involved as well. Some
We
people
always
will
quick to remove ourselves. Yeah.
it's expensive, or I ain't got the time to drop the because it get practice, it get all this time and money that goes into it now. We got to hold ourselves accountable too.
And I don't, and I to say that too, Ja, I don't want to hear nothing about that either because let me tell you something. Every jam I went to was not under $30. Darren, did you find one that was under $30 this year?
Let's see that.
I ain't seen a jam. Maybe I missed it or I didn't go. That was under $30.
No,
And
everything was
and
hype,
and maybe
and
you don't
I
buy
ain't
a
complaining
ticket.
because I do pretty well for myself, so
R- Oh my. For somebody who did pretty well, you don't take me no place though. I ain't got no VIP experience nowhere. But anyway, moving on. But also the door prices them was not for the cheap, for the poor. And they were wrong. So I don't want to necessarily hear that these things because three event and I don't spend $200, 250 easy for three events. And that's not drinks. That's just door price or
you
ticket
know what?
price.
I just thought about something, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a while. Hopefully, I could kind of restart the nonprofit and stuff. I think the one of the problems that I see is that we don't have a lot of family to the events. Hear me out. Like we have the what's that little boy name? Well, not little boy. The who now like singing songs and so I forget his name. Carter. Like
Pardon? Mhm.
yeah, Carter. Like out there actually performing and doing these events more and more. So like I say, you just have to have more family oriented events. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff geared to the adults and you have the liquor and all of that stuff, but the kids need some of that too. They need the exposure. Like if they're not being exposed to anything, how they supposed to like it? You
Mhm.
hey, you could bring a child to something and it's kind of like by force and they may not even take to it. But if they could see somebody that's similar to them or close enough and they have songs that they could actually listen to, because parents are cognizant about what the kids listen to. But if you have nothing for them or nobody around their age group to listen to, they ain't really think about it. When we were going to high school, we know we not far apart in age and so we had bands that was originated from high school. They ain't got
Mhm.
none of that stuff right now, really and truly.
True.
So
Well,
we
And
just
if you
need,
think
we need.
about it, And if you think about it, we don't even have junior soca calypso anymore. Like King Derby was a champion
You're
of the junior
right. I
calypso
did not think
show,
about
and we
that.
haven't had that for a few years. And no one has taken up that mantle to say King Derby is an amazing asset to our community, and he's getting older. He can't hold that mantle forever. Someone or a group of someone's need to take up that throne and be like, we can't let this die culturally. We have to get the kids back into these things and having those type of events. So even like that, I noticed like we haven't had a junior calypso show, and that was always a big thing with the kids, and we don't have that. Where did that go? How can
I
we
did not
revive
even
it?
realize
It needs
that.
to be on
Wow.
the agenda next year.
Wow, I did not even realize that. See, that slipped
it's
my
us
mind.
with us
Cause I
too.
outside.
He wasn't outside for real. Let's be honest, he wasn't outside for real. But
That's the only time of the year should be outside.
so hey, I don't know that. It's like she don't save up her energy. She don't
I
hibernate.
like a babe. I got conserve my energy.
Has come to the last day. She there running on fumes, my boy. She running.
Not even the fumes. I run it on the smoke from the fumes. Okay.
Crystal Thompson says she likes the idea of more family events and more
Mm-hmm.
celebrations. I would love for you to
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to see as far as cultural celebration? You know the funny thing about this whole festival situation, it's all supposed to be culturally relevant, and it still
That
seems
is true.
at the same time we're moving away from the actual cultural part of it. You get
Mm-hmm.
what? That's the funny part. Like this is all like the cultural night, and no, it's supposed to be a cultural event. The whole thing. Oh,
You
Senichi.
know, I think, I think it is kind of got a little too far into the commercialization of carnival.
The commerce.
Yeah, the commerce about it, and like for me, like I well, I don't think we ever followed each other. Then I actually make a point like a couple of years ago, like, hey, I would actually like to see a road. I ain't got no feathers in it because I think no, and now it has actually happened. I'm not saying I manifested it myself, but like I think because the feathers wasn't originally our stuff, that was something that come along because of the culture of carnival migrated from Brazil all the way up to us. So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong in incorporating it, but it can't just it shouldn't be the only thing that we see. It should be other things that we have other things that's culturally associated with each other, right? So I think that's the different things we gotta do. You don't have to do like boom pull like five troops or like that. It can start off with one and just kind of build it up from there. And going back to the kids, like I think like culturally, like food wise, that's why we have a lot of people like coconut tart and pineapple tart because they don't it should be the first one. But we don't go there right now. But I think just the kids gotta learn how to start trying the cultural foods because a lot of them, like even up to this day, like when I say I post like my mom make red grout, and half the people is
And then they criticize you for not knowing what it is, but it's like, where can you find it? It's not like it's just in plaza. You get what I'm saying? Like, where is it? It's something that your grandmother used to make and her grandmother or mother taught her, and we're losing that even. So how do you expect everybody to know it if it's not out there like that? I thought it was a thing.
that's not a fair point. 'Cause I have criticized, but I started to learn to just educate versus criticize. But the thing is, like that's the part is we started to lose our culture. Like even like I love what in the mix is doing and bringing back beignet because beignet was something that I grew up I was having, but I started to realize that a lot of people didn't actually came across those things like even down to like tarts the way that some tarts are being made no way where my grandmother and my ancestors and so were making, they're doing it off of based on what they learn or other because everybody place makes tarts differently, or may I want to say lack for a better term, do it the lazy way. And it's just those things. It's just we have to get back to of course the elders teaching the younger ones, but the younger ones also have to be receptive to it as well too.
True. It's a give and a take, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if we're honest, we our people them learned it not because you had a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come help me shell these peas, you come help me, you know what I'm saying? And you showed them. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're receptive then. I doubt it. I don't think that has changed too much because children will be children. But I do agree with you overall. I agree with you.
And I just want to add too quickly is like, even though I do agree with everything that's been said for in terms of the cultural component, we have to want to teach our kids a cultural component. These
Right.
new parents don't do that. That's not what they're in for, teaching the kids to be culturally knowledgeable. And if you think about it, you can tell. It's very obvious. If you ask these kids certain things, they have no clue culturally what it means or what it stands for. Yeah, we know we go to the village, we go to the rides, we go to blah, blah, blah. But even in schools, we used to teach the culture in schools, and you used to learn things in schools. You learn steel pan, you learn maypole, you learn quadrille. It was, even if you didn't do anything with it, you learned it. But we no longer make those things part of our natural curriculum, and these kids have to learn it. So at least they have a basic understanding of what it was. And then there's also commentary, like in terms of this steel pan, like Rising Stars being on the road and they do an amazing job. We used to have 5 steel pan on the road. Now we're down to 1.
It's true.
There's no more pan fest at Island Center either.
True.
And that used to
I
have a
did forget all
huge
about that.
turnout.
Wow.
That used
And
to have a
don't
huge turnout. I
and then
competed in Pan Fest when I was young, and my kids have done Pan Fest, but we don't have Pan Fest anymore. So, like, all these things are just dwindling away and disappearing. And no one is like, the alarms aren't going off to say, like, hey, we're losing too many important cultural things. And we need to reshift how we can make it possible. I know it's not cheap. I know it's not free. I know it takes time. Some people are burned out as well because the same person doing it every year can't be the theme to make it work. We have to be culturally invested. Our younger generations have to be the ones to be like, hey, our people who are holding these mantles are getting older. We have to put our hands out and take the mantles or help them hold it until we can take it and hold it on our own. And we have the knowledge base to run it without them. Because that's important too. That's all those little things are super important.
All right, we're coming back. Um, we're gonna go over Siobhan's comment too, because I think Siobhan may have it covered, may have it figured out. Let's see. That was Love and BS by Buddy Vaughn. You are now rocking with the best, the number one station in the U.S. Virgin Islands, 1013 Row FM, and you're tuned in to A Different Day with Jah and
Your girl Neci.
we also got a special someone in the building. Talk to him.
Hey, this is your favorite East Side guy, Daren. I'm in the building. I'm having fun with these guys. Let's continue to talk.
You see how he choked up because the lie, his throat know it was a lie coming, so he started choking up. But as, remember, you ain't no favorite East Side guy. You were repping Mid Island hard, trying to get me on the
Who?
stop you out.
No, I was calling you, man.
All lying before Wapa take your power. So before the break, Nisi, Daren, and I we were discussing festival, and we were discussing maybe are we losing the cultural traditions? Are we losing the culture that's in the music and what festival means? So we have listen, if you're not on 1013 Row FM's Facebook page, affectionately known as Row FM Plus, you're missing out on so much behind the scenes discussions and topics and fun. You need to get tapped in. But Siobhan says, here is the problem. Those were all traditions, referring to things like red grout, featherless costumes, etc. Those are all traditions that were upheld by women. We now have broken homes and women that work 2 and 3 jobs to attempt to keep it all together. We have no time to make tart from scratch. Thoughts?
You know what? That's actually a good point. I can't lie. That's a good point. Hey, man, let me step it up, okay?
But that will mean, man, you need to work harder because, inflation, you got to work harder so you can stay home and make the tart from scratch. Is that what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
As you know, if you don't make coconut tart from scratch,
man,
ooh, that ain't gonna go down too good.
don't get me started on the dryness. And the non-stitch from home, we are losing culture and cultural barriers to cost of living. Adrena says, I love Nisi facial expressions, especially when she know Daren lying. You're missing out. I tell you on the radio, you're missing out on so much. But yeah, so that's what we were talking about. And the commentary and the chat is going off. We appreciate every single listener.
We do.
Share the live. Let other people tap in with us this way. I mean, if you're listening on the radio, cool. Right now, we can't take no calls. We're working on it. We just get a video up and running. The calls is coming next. So we don't jump into the next part because we was talking about Machel Montano, Kes, their performances at the Village Night, right? VI people, VI people can't like.
Oh, that's cuz. That's cuz.
Hold up. Hold up. With a VI consortium post, man. Anyway, VI consortium had posted that they are unable to stream Kes part of the Village, right? And people were upset. They were upset, saying don't bring him back and all type of stuff. Now, I feel like that makes sense. The man want you to come to the show. Yes, you're going to have to pay, but this is what I do. This is my job. Come see it. Don't watch it from home. But people were upset. What are your thoughts?
Let me see. Go first.
My tart, my tart. I see coconut tart and I want tart already. I gotta lick my tart, girl. When I done, I get me tart in my mouth. Adrena, thanks for that. My thoughts are, if anyone knows Marshall or knows how he performs, that's always been in his contract. Anywhere that he goes and he performs, he controls how his performances are live streamed. And he usually does not allow the promoters to do it. He manages his own performances. And that's why you don't see that many live performances from him. If you think about it, how much do you see Marshall live performances trending anywhere? You don't really see them because it's in his contract. And what I think should have happened though is that should have been announced prior to, so people were just aware of it instead of experiencing it in real time, waiting for him to come on. That's where I think the gap happened. It should have been announced in the day, like, hey, during Marshall's performance, we will be able to live stream it, but we'll continue the stream after his performance is done. Then people would have had an expectation from beforehand to know that was going to happen. But to experience it in real time like that, I would have been bitter too. Like, what do you mean we can't watch his show? Like, because you gave no context. And so I think it was just a matter of how it was communicated. But that's how I'm aware that that's how his contract has always been for a while. And so I expected that was going to happen.
So at this point, because I think that's one of the issues that I had with when I talk about what I gave the grade of 7. Please, tourism community, don't take an offense, and just giving some good feedback. It was the lack of communication that was part of the
Mhm.
issue. Like you could have told time you having these issues with releasing the lineups for whatever reason that was. You could have told us, hey, from the time you put out the poster with Marshall, say that this performance will not be live streamed because you know it, because you have to, in order to book him, it was there.
You had
So
to.
just
Yeah,
say it
you
from
have to
the jump.
agree.
Just
Hmm.
say it. That's all you have to do. I don't understand why there's this level of mystery or whatever. Like, just say it. Like, I don't know if they realize something. You tell people information, they're gonna rock with it. Just tell them. That's all you gotta do. But I was to the greater point I was saying. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily not something that should not bring him back. I know it was inconvenient. Like I'll be honest, I wasn't there his performance because man, I had to limp home. My car was pulling
Joke,
and the
joke.
check engine light was on. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I wasn't there, but like honestly, just I think the biggest thing I think the hopefully in the festivals just take an account for this as a level of feedback. Just make sure you say things in advance and go from there.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Um,
communication.
so I did see the announcement, right, from VI Consortium. I agree with you guys, but I'm usually in the middle of the perspective. Like I understand that they let you know, hey, such and such, we cannot do it, and I immediately just assumed, hey, this is a contractual thing. They're not allowed to, because they put KES does not allow us to. And on the flip side
Not
of that,
catch Marshall, you mean?
Marshall, my bad. Let me not get people vexed.
Please, please.
Marshall contractually does not let you stream his stuff. Now, on the flip side of that, it was a free show. It was free anyway. So,
Hmm.
I mean, but like I said, people were upset. Commenter says, keep Kess and please do not, one word, bring back Montana. Do
I
not.
disagree.
I disagree with that.
I disagree. I think that the communication was a big issue and caused a lot of unnecessary backlash. You would have gotten backlash anyway whenever you had announced it. But his performance from the first song to the last song was, well, he performed for an hour and a half straight. He didn't leave that stage. He didn't take no break. None of that. Like, and he sang his songs. He had the whole band. He had about 6 dancers with him, dancing throughout every single song. It was well done. It was well performed, and that's what he does. When you bring in these bands are going to run like they. Marshall knows how to make a performance and how to create a show. He's going to give you his show, which is why he charges what he charged, because he demand know what he could do. Me vex with it. But because of the lack of communication, it caused a lot of back. Don't bring him back. Why would we not want to bring him back? That's a big plus for us as a for our community. We don't take the wrong turn when things don't go the way we would like it to. And I understand it was inconvenient because if I was home, I would want to see it too. But again, it should have been announced beforehand so people were just aware if that part would not have been live streamed.
You know, I say something. I think when Marshall he visits St. Thomas very often. There was something
Mhm.
I think that was unique that I don't think happened here. When Marshall visited St. Thomas, he was within the whole carnival season. He was there. He was people taking pictures with him. I didn't see that time around, so I think that will be the only thing I would say they fall short on. When you have, and I always felt like this way: if you bring certain major acts, don't be like, "Hey, you perform and then you go about your business," right? Have them the event, right? And it's not so much about, all right, we don't want to pay for extra room or whatever the case is, arrangements, what, but have them speak about our carnival back to the rest of the world. You could
Facts,
do, you go and do an endorsement. They, for example, do content and they post it on TikTok or whatever that looks like.
facts.
We need that kind of exposure, right? And I'm not saying we want to make it super commercialized, but a lot of times people just need to see it. Allow these artists to come our culture. We gotta stop thinking about this transactional thing. I pay for performance and then you're done. Let them feel our culture, right? We are a very welcoming place. We love everybody. Let them experience the culture. That's what I truly believe.
Daren for Festivals Commission. That was an amazing idea, though. Like, don't you see how we'd have dropped the ball on what could potentially be advertising and marketing for the Virgin Islands? You see how easily, like, you get a man coming to the airport. All you gotta do, maybe put a slice in the contract when you come in the airport. You do a little, a little something. We record it. We could use that. As much as you don't pay these man, you can't do that. But I digress. Let's get to some of these comments. Siobhan actually agrees with Nisi on this. And William says, VI around the world wanted to be a part of festival people. I get it. I get it.
We
First one said
get
it
it.
was
Mhm.
lit. Siobhan says, Michelle is an artist that controls his image. No issue with me. It just needs to be communicated. Again, the
Exactly.
communication, which I don't, it's not necessarily on Michelle, is it? He wants to promote his content, but what about promoting the VI? Do a venue for him, not in the village. Give him his own venue. Yeah, he made them delete the video. I guess somebody else has streamed it. I'm sure he was paid for that. Yeah, personally, I don't see anything wrong with a man controlling his image and saying, "Hey, I ain't getting this show for free." Again, this is the man's job. Like, to give people shows is what he does. That's where he makes his money. But I also
Mhm.
understand that it's frustrating for those who want to be a part of what's going on and have a little fete in their house. From afar, I understand both sides.
I do too. I do too. And listen, there's we're the one of I think we're the only Caribbean island that puts on a festival for free to its masses. Like everywhere else I've ever went to carnival, I had to pay to go into these stadiums to see shows with the artists. I don't go to the village for free and just watch the artists perform. I haven't been to all the islands. So I'm not speaking on all the islands, but the ones I've been to and I'm aware of, it's not free. So the fact that we still have a unique experience where we can put on these shows for free, I don't want to undermine that experience for anyone. Yes, you missed it because it wasn't live stream. I understand that you would have loved to have been a part of it. If I was home, I'd have been vexed too, especially seeing that the live cut out right before he was supposed to come on and that message popped up. That would have upset me too. I totally get it. Communication is key. That should have been done. However, anywhere he goes, he controls his image. So if you're a real fan of his, you would have known that much, in my opinion. Did he need his own venue? No, he didn't come here to perform a paid event. He was paid to perform at our village, free to us, to give us a show, and he gave us a show. Some people were streaming with their phones. Some people were able to see it. People took lots of videos. of what he was doing. He can't control that part of it, but he could only control who brought him here and what he wants them to do contractually. So everybody have their own things in their contract that they want to do, they don't want to do. And I want to also take into consideration that this show is being done near New Year's. I know he was in St. Thomas for a long time. Maybe that time he was more free to be more than one place. I think he performed somewhere the other day and then he flew come here. So sometimes the timing might not have worked out where he could have been here for longer to do
Hold on.
more. But
So
hey,
now change your radio dial. We'll be right back. Different day with Jah and Neci. Go ahead.
no, that's what I was saying. He was performing somewhere the other day and then he came here. So contractually, maybe he didn't have enough time to come here and be present like he was in St. Thomas. St. Thomas have their carnival at a very different time of the year than we do. We
That's
have
true.
it around Christmas and New Year's. That are two big holidays that people have other commitments to as well. And that we try to book these artists to be here to give us the show that we would like, that we think that we should have. So I don't want to say it's an easy thing to do, especially that time of the year.
That's true. I give that. You're making good points, Nisi. You're making good points.
But you know that Darren, you know what happened? If they didn't bring Marshall this year, it'd have been noise. Because they bring him twice in St. Thomas the last 2 years, right? If they didn't bring him this, oh, they didn't bring Marshall again this year. He been in St. Thomas the last 2 years. We keep getting scrapped. Blah, blah.
To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Marshall fan, and there's not no any disrespect or nothing like that, right? The artist I want to see is Bunji Garlin. That oh man, that's who I want to see come next year. Hopefully,
Did
fingers
you see him when
crossed.
he was here?
When he was here, when how recently? No, okay. How recently we talking? When
All
he
right.
was here?
Moving on. You
No, no,
done
no.
this?
For real, when he was here.
I thought you was a fan. Ain't you his fan?
I mean, I'm not saying the biggest fan. I just say I want to see him perform. I don't remember him being performing. At least not.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. So you said it's your cousin. How many cousins you getting, man? Because your family is quite large.
Oh, I listen. It's so bad, right? Whenever I start talking to new ladies, I gotta ask who the family are. That's how bad it is.
So we're gonna get into this because I think it at least, at the very least, they give, you know, some sort of what is it called? They give not advice.
Points.
They
Yeah.
give options. It's not just a complaint. So I want to go over this here too. Let me take out the panel so you can see everything. All right. Emil, let me know if I'm saying it correctly now. Emil A. Henderson III,
Yep.
they post. It said they are advising, and just like that, the Crucian Christmas Festival, or what it purports to be, is over. A little shade. I
Little
was
shade.
While there were some high points and good times, I felt like the Crucian Christmas Festival this year was like, here you go, and just be happy you have a festival. And I
Mm-hmm.
know people feel that way too. People kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
The one
Mm-hmm.
thing I really enjoyed though were the Stanley Serenades and Champs. Again, unanimous. That really felt like old time Crucian Christmas Festival. I will say this, that logistically the festival was a success in that it was easy and seamless to get in and out of town. I don't know if it was due to not many people going to the events or there being a traffic plan that the VIPD executed well. I think it was the latter. Kudos to
I
them for
think
that.
I agree. I think there was a traffic plan and VIPD really, because I got in and out of town very. That's the first year I got, especially Adults Parade Day. I was in and out twice with no problems, and that's normally not a thing. So they seem
I
to.
agree with
I
that.
would want to. Yeah, they had to have a plan, and even in the parking there was a plan because it flowed.
Kudos to them. Kudos to them. Shout out VIPD. I think there are some things I would like to see done for next Cruise and Christmas Festival, though, that I think could and would return to us what we know to be our true festival. Now, I want to go over these things point by point. There's like 9 or 10 points. So, should we start now or wait?
Let me start now, come. By the time we get to the end, it might be the end of the show.
It will be. Let's roll through real quickly.
I wrote through them.
when you said there needs to be more coverage of the festivals, what are you like? What would you like to see, Charisma? Back to this, yeah. Let me take this out. All right, so here we go with the list. One, if we are truly going to advertise under the theme a vibe like no other, then those planning our festival should know what that vibe is. In other words, stop trying to turn the Crucian Christmas Festival into a mirror image of all other Caribbean carnivals. I think Darren, I made a point like that, right?
Yeah,
You did.
similar point. Yeah,
That is not who we are. I saw a social media influencer ask, where else can you go for days of a free festival and entertainment but St. Croix? That question is the beauty and draw of our festival. Keep it. I think
Mm-hmm.
I made that point also, that we
Mm-hmm.
don't, that's for free. Here's a point that I want to make. I feel like we're missing opportunities to use social media, though.
I agree.
Social media is a powerful tool, and most of the time you can use it for free. And there's influencers that they're not partnering with that will pass through the festival, and festivals will not link up with them. Matter of fact, just St. Croix alone has at least four major influencers from St. Croix that you'll never see in a festival's ad or anything. But I digress. Point number two, while I appreciate big draw acts, I would also like to see more of our local acts shine during our festival. We should be highlighting our culture and our artists. Another
Yep.
point that I made.
We spoke about. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. Charisma says there needs to be more coverage of the information in regards to dates, times, venues, etc. And
I
and
agree.
go faster. And to put it out sooner. You know what I'm saying? Earlier. The opening of the festival village should return to December 26th and not
Correct.
shows and Calypso Monarch competitions. The real opening. What is the real opening? What I
I mean, the grand opening of the village. So I think it was the 29th this year, but they had the Queen shows and stuff after the 26th, and then the Soca Monarch and so on before the opening on the 29th. So what he's saying is those shows should happen before the grand opening and move the grand opening back to the 26th of December, which I do agree.
I
mean?
agree.
What about the length? The length of the festival. Is it too short?
Which is what he's saying. Yes, they're
Yeah, it
shorting
was
it
too
so it's
short.
only 7 days. So he's saying move it back to the 26th through. So just so people are aware, the adults parade. The parade is done the first Friday and Saturday of January. That's how it's written in. So every first Friday and Saturday of the new year is when the children and adult parade is scheduled. So they kind of work backwards from there. So what he's saying is it should start on the 26th through that first Friday and Saturday of the new year and not just for 7 days. So I do agree. We have enough talent to do that.
All right.
You know what's the next point I just thought about?
Hold it.
Like,
We coming back in like 25 seconds.
okay,
Give me, give me one more. Then we're gonna go back to that day.
okay.
All right. Hey, Chad, why are you thinking about these points that are being made by Emil Henderson? Put in the comments. Tell us what you think about it. What would you like to see more of, etc. Yo, 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 yo! You are back with a different day with Jah
It's tired Nisi. She tired today.
and that was Pompa A List, the VI very own energy god that you were just hearing coming through your radio waves. And we have a special guest in the studio today by the name of.
Hey, this your favorite East Side guy, Daren Eastman represent.
Mhm. He there in the
Not
building.
Mid Island man, East. And let me define what Eastman is. When you pop before Soniels, that's East. After Soniels is Mid Island.
Okay, brother. Okay, brother. We with you. So if you're not FM Plus, meaning the Facebook page for 101.3 Row FM, where you can join the comments and talk to us live and join the conversation, you should do so if you're able to. If you're listening on the radio or through the TuneIn app, we still love you. We appreciate it. We just don't want you to miss anything. All right. So during the break, DC, Darren, and I, we were going over some points by an Emil A. Henderson III, some ways that Emil thinks that would help going forward. We're gonna just, kind of slowly recap to where we were.
Mm,
No, no, no. All
no.
right, fine. Oop, we
We're
did
like
three.
point 3. Mm-hmm.
All right, so basically, opening the festival village, it should return to December 26th. I think we all can agree on that one. Point number 4, Festival Queen Show and Calypso Monarch competition should return to Island Center. What I think about that one?
I don't necessarily agree or disagree with it. I know St. Thomas holds theirs in their village. Um, Ours, I guess, if we're gonna move the date back to the 26th, it should return, but also I know there's a cost for that as well. So I don't wanna I'm okay either way with where it's being held to me.
Okay. Darren,
I
what you
think I understand the point where you're coming from
Mhm.
because I know one of the chief complaints was for the Queen show was there was no chairs available. It was straight stand up from I think the show started what 4 and it went all the way to like 1 a.m.
It was 8 hours long.
oof,
It was
So
eight
no
hours long.
chairs. Yeah. So I think that's might be where the spirit of where the suggestion come from.
mhm,
So either we find like a happy medium where there's enough chairs for everybody, but again you have to sell advance tickets in order to know how much chairs to get. So it have to be a little bit more logistics. So it might be just simpler to do Island Center or another venue that could hold all those people.
okay.
Okay.
I feel that. I feel that. All right, what's the next point? 5, all of our schools should be required to participate in the children's parade, and they should be given some kind of assistance to make sure that they are able to. Also, they should shorten the parade route for the children's parade and give it a start at the top of King Street. That way, we can concentrate on the onlookers and the children won't be too exhausted before making it to the reviewing stand. Thoughts?
That's not a bad suggestion. That might be good. Actually, I like the shortening the route part. That might be where it is at.
Mm,
Our Queen shows used to be in Lionel Roberts Stadium, says Ann
well,
Williams.
we ain't got no stadium and we had two governors since then. So I don't. Mm.
You shady bastard. Hey, troops slash floops. I'm not sure what a floop is. Is that when you have a float? Is that what that is?
Yeah, but you have like
Yeah, yeah.
a display. Yeah. Hmm.
Hey, I'm all for bringing back floats. We need to bring
Me
back floats.
too.
Wait, hold on. I gotta shout out the gentleman at Jones. That's my brothers. We do floats every year. Just saying.
I love that dragon. That dragon was nice.
Okay. Hey, gentlemen of Jones been holding it down for a long time.
They
I
want
mean,
to actually they if really actually they actually won. They wanted the original troops from the first festival parade.
that's why they know how to
That's how far back it goes.
Hmm.
that's what's up. Troops of flukes should return to the days of presentation at the adults parade. There should be routines that onlookers are entertained by, not just have us sitting there watching drunk people gyrate in the street with no kind of order. You can present and still have fun. so
I do agree. I do miss seeing a good routine down the road and then when the troops are in their sections and lined up, and you can see the display of all the feathers and the the routine, and then again, and then you have too much people walking between these damn troops, especially the adults parade. Like, if you're not in a troop shirt as a member of the troop, you should not be walking in the troop. Big up to Opulence, because they was really making sure nobody was walking through their troop, and they were putting people out on the side. They got people coming in trying to dance with the girls, and like they need to. That's not yeah.
why are you doing that?
Because the troops, I don't. I'm not. But people do it, and people walk through the troops, especially guys and whatever. If you don't have a press pass to be out there taking pictures or in the official uniform shirt for the troop, you should not be walking through these troops. You know, hardly wants to get pictures and content. A lot of people were complaining. because there's too many people walk, and then you're behind the rail. People in the troop standing up, line up on the rail, watching these girl and whatever it is or whatever they're doing, and they shouldn't be there. And we need to do a better job of keeping them out the road. We really, really need to. But Opulence was doing it. I saw it with my own eyes, and they were taking people off the side, like, "Hey, nothing, yeah, move." I'm big up
Agreed.
to them for that. So I had definitely like to see that, and I think everyone should do it. I'm for routines and line up. I mean, have fun, fed, throw up, skin out, whatever you're doing, but there should be a routine that gives everybody a look to see how your troops look collectively in sections. I think I missed that too.
And I
Yes,
also have a happy medium, right? Because I've been involved in troops also, right?
Mhm.
Because I know part of the problem was people started to not want to do this, want to do whatever they want drunk. Other thing is the troops should do is have a particular section that when you get towards the bandstand, everybody is hang tight, and then the actual with the dance routine, because everybody part of the problem is remember people are traveling in and they reaching in the parade, so they
Mhm.
gonna be there for the dance routine. But if you go get a particular set of a group of people to just do the dance routine and go in the front when they pass the judges stand, I think that's a happy medium.
Mhm. And you should be in your section when you're passing by too.
That's the next.
And one thing that they need to stop letting people do is when they pass the judges stand and the governor, they can't walk back up the road.
But I think part of the problem is with that. I agree with you. I think part of the problem with that is I've heard the complaint that the route is a little too small. So that's why they feel like they didn't get their money's worth.
No.
I've heard people say
Money's
that
money's
rush.
worth or not, you know what the route is when you signed up. Unless you're just new and you're coming from off island, you've never been on the road. I'll give those people an excuse. They never been on the road, you don't know. But for those who know what the route is, when you pass the judge's stand, you should not be allowed to. You cannot do that nowhere else. You can't should be able to walk back up and then no.
I've heard people say that they rush the troops through, like they try to get you to speed up. I've heard of that. Not that it's too slow.
That's another thing too. Yeah,
Yes. Because sometimes they come down the road and it's dark or it's late or whatever it is, and they try and bring them down the road to make it past the judges stand so they could be judged or and so on and so forth. I will say though that there was not no real major gaps this year in the parade. Like usually you could see like a gap out the top of the hill empty kind of thing. I That didn't happen this year. So they were really trying to make sure that they brought the troops them down as much as possible consistently and to avoid that. They weren't I didn't see that. And I was there from the whole thing. So
Good news.
Oh, I want to say this one thing before we move on. I think part of the problem too is the parade's been starting at 1:30 the past couple of years, so that's where the accelerated pace comes from. Is because they try and make it done before the sun. The sun goes down completely. Parade should start a bit sooner than that, in my opinion. And if you gotta extend the route a little bit just to give them some time to have fun or whatever, then let's do it.
yeah, but extended past the judges stand, like go around the corner down by the parking lot.
That's another thing too. It could be all of that.
Bands. Number 7, bands. Please have your festival music out by early to mid-November so that the
Mhm.
troop slash floops can have choreographed presentations for onlookers and the world to enjoy on parade days. I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no idea what songs were contenders for Road March this year or if they even had any contenders for Road March. Yesterday, what I
Mhm.
heard was a bunch of international songs being played, and some of those songs are from years ago. I heard one troop playing Tremble It, and that song has to be over 15 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. There was a lot of international songs on the road, and I did not hear enough locals. I heard two local songs being played. Two. That's why I was like, to me, it was very obvious for Road March, which the two songs. But besides that, everything else to me was international. We did talk about it, and I do agree. Yeah, it wasn't. That was
Yeah.
disheartening to think.
And also to think about it, like the Real March song is supposed to be our song. That's the song
Mhm.
we're supposed to broadcast to the rest of the world. That's supposed to be the best of the best.
Fact.
So we got to start from early. So I think going back to, I mean, this is just a suggestion. We're not saying that you're not doing hard work or anything like that. We're
Mhm.
just suggesting that Division of Festival start to coordinate that so we can all hear the song from early so we can appreciate it and routines and stuff going forward. And then we can have a bona fide road march that we can start, start promoting all our songs for the whole year.
Mhm.
Charisma asks, they used to have an East and West parade.
Oh boy, here we go.
It used to be in East. Could have sworn they used to have a parade in East. I ain't been parading so long, and yes, they did.
They used to, but I think
We used to.
I'm an East girl, and I think we're not that it's impossible to do, but if you look at the size of these trucks that be on the road that we come down in Frederickson is a double lane road. East roads are one way roads. Those trucks on those roads is not the same as in West Road. That will look like it will look very different.
Not to mention it's dangerous.
I'm not
But
saying that we can't have a parade in East because I all for hands up vote. I'm just saying if you think of the crowd size in terms of the trucks on the road and the maneuvering, it's not impossible, but that truck on a double lane road is done dangerous enough for them people being drunk on the road. Mind you, a single lane road going into town. And where you gonna start the parade from? Pueblo? Cause you think of
But
the
that's where you used
length
to start
too.
from. But that's where you used to start from.
But
Wait,
what I'm
I
saying
have a.
is Pueblo is a double lane road, and then when you get into town, it's a single lane road. It's a difference, is what I'm saying.
How about this, right? A suggestion, right? And we don't have to start with actual festival parade, or so, right? And I don't know how it's gonna happen logistically, or is it safe? Why have we not tried a bypass road?
that's a good stretch.
No.
That's not that is I listen. I've walked it. It's at least
That's a
a
good
good
stretch.
bit.
And it's
That's a good step from contentment all the way. Come down. It got spaces on the
Here's
side
why
of
I
the road.
said
Everything.
no. Here's why I said no. Why I said you're because I do logistics. So logistically, those truck going up that hill to have to stop is not the same as a car stopping.
yeah, yeah.
Even though the trucks aren't going that fast, they're pulling equipment.
True, true, true. And
Makes sense.
Those
That makes sense.
and
You're right.
people
You understand? Yeah. Remember, there's an incline and there's a decline in that bypass.
That's a good point. I can rock with it. That's a good
You
point.
would have to have VIPD on the road walking with those trucks to ensure nothing happens.
well, they're gonna be there
Okay.
regardless.
So only
No,
thing I
I
could
mean
think
no,
of,
they don't walk with the trucks though on the road.
Mm.
the only thing I could think of, and again, just like I'll give another suggestion, right? Because I know where some of this coming from. You know, like how Mommy Ju had her own Juve.
I
Maybe
was
we
going
need to have our own Juve in East.
but go ahead. They need to bring back mommy
We
too.
could have a Juve in East.
I
I don't
agree. It should
mind.
be back. We could have multiple Juves.
Village can't be in East ever. We ain't good enough. Ain't good enough in there. Ain't big enough. No.
That might be a little tough. No. I think honestly, it gotta stay in West.
Okay.
Like
All right.
size wise, the way I see the village is now. Cause remember back then it wasn't as big before, but not to where it is now. It gotta stay in West.
Fair
Unless
enough.
we find a new space for it.
Fair enough. All right. Number 8. By October, we should know our festival schedule and village schedule
Facts.
performers so that we can be excited and people traveling to our shores can make appropriate arrangements to get here.
Honestly, I'll
Agreed.
take even further back. September.
September. Okay.
Yeah. Cause when you think about it, you drop in October, there's November, and then December is right there.
That's true.
September. September, yeah.
I'm with you. I think personally, the earlier the better, right? Earlier the better. I think 3 months
Yeah.
should
Because I
be
know people made some decisions not to travel just mainly because no lineup.
exactly. Number 9, food fair should never be on January 1st. Let's try not to do that again.
Agreed.
I agree. Listen, they realize what a logistical nightmare that they did, not only for people, because people of course have to work, but for businesses, when they changed the Juve Day 2 weeks prior to that, like Like to me, like I don't know why people feel that way. Because I know we had it on the first a few times, and it was some of the best Juves ever. I don't know why people feel like it can't be in the fuss. That's the day that most people are free. If the only things you could think about that will be open on January 1st is really Plaza and the market and the convenience stores. Everybody else is free for the most part. Let them go down.
Mm-hmm.
It don't and they said that, oh, it has Wednesday or whatever. It don't always have to be that. Let it be in the fuss. That way everybody could come down for it.
I think the complaints that I seen about having food fair on the first was that basically tradition when Juve was and all of that. And then the other part was because what was happening in village the night before, people would be tired to cook for food fair and stuff like
The
that. That's
night
what I,
before they didn't have anything in the night the well
for the first I did the 31st.
No,
Yeah,
they had something, but it wasn't like it was like
the
a
31st was
scaled up
just
kind of thing.
DJs.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I'm just saying what I seen the complaints were. Um, Charisma said, yeah, they did used to have an East Village too. I am old enough to remember when it used to it used to go one year in East, the other year
Yeah.
in West. They used to
But
all
remember,
used to
but
have it.
It's
East
the
Village
alternate
used
way.
to be East Village used to be held in the government parking lot.
No, it kind of well, it was yes, and then it
And
was
then
like
it
kind of
moved to
gates up.
Canigata, right? And then but legit to me, there's no parking out at Canigata for the amount of people that goes to the village.
Mm-hmm.
Where you gonna park? Lagoon? Even
And
though, and I'm not trying to be
Lagoon
funny,
looking
I
a
would
little
like.
shaky these days.
I'm not being funny. I would love it back in East, but look at how the village is in West, and they clear out that land where the ballpark is for parking. That holds how much cars over there, Darren? Like that could hold easily what? I go a couple hundred cars,
Yeah.
easy. In that space next to the village, and people start to park on the road, go around the corner up by the archery, and park on the waterfront, and they park all the way up King
Right.
Street to go village. Even though you have that big parking space next to the village, what area are we designating in East to create a parking for us to park?
Dear, hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying we have to return it back to East. I'm just saying, in the spirit of the
Here we go.
conversation, the only place I could think of that could logistically want to do a parade route and a village. Let me start with a village. The only place I could think of, just thinking about the surrounding areas and everything, the only place I could think in East that could hold our village is Sunny Isles. Think about it. Sunny Isles is a pretty big space.
It is. It is. And in the States, they do have fairs in plazas like that. They do it like that. And it'll be big and it has a lot of parking already. I mean, the man has a point.
Now, let me talk about parade route. Let me talk about parade route. Hear
Shut it
me
on the
out.
highway. We shut it on the highway.
No, no, not the highway, but hear me out.
Uh-huh.
So everybody know where let me for lack of a better term, where Coca Cola is. From Coca Cola to Soniel's stoplight. That's a parade route right there.
Just because we can't have that here. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Nisi, your face saying a lot, but use words. Use your words.
I don't.
So you feeling that? That was a valiant effort. I'm with you on the village thing. That actually
Mhm.
I think that could work.
No, I don't
Really
agree with
think
the village either. No,
really that
no.
space and look
Where are you putting the rides and stuff?
in
By
in a,
Kmart,
in a piece of the parking. That's a
it's a big
large
parking space, you know.
large area.
So where you putting the boots? If you put in the rides and came, where you putting the boots?
You could take that whole side for real, for real.
No,
You
no,
know,
no.
you know how big Sonia's parking lot is?
You could take that whole
I
side.
Where are you putting the boots, sir?
How many rides you got? Three, four? Like,
Nobody that is like 8 to 10
Don't do that.
people.
and then you could take up that whole side from wherever that shut down place is all the way to the China Jade or wherever it is. You could take that whole side.
That's not
And
big
it,
enough.
okay. All right.
All right, I tried. I tried.
Yeah, we
Hey,
Because no, hear me out. You don't only have the boots, right? I mean, yeah, my face is in. I'm sorry, Anne. You not only don't have the boots, right? You have the boots, you have the rides, and then you have the vendors who vend and sell whatever they're selling as well. And then you also have to be able to create spaces where they can cook. And
yeah.
that, I mean, Kmart parking lot is one thing, but that's still a business. That's still a business district where you have to avoid your fire hazards and all. There's a lot of things that goes into that.
Vanessa says Office Max lot. That if you could take a side, you literally
that's
could
what I'm
take.
saying. Sonny has a big space.
She ain't feeling it, and she won't be. It's cool.
No,
Yeah, it's all
it's
right.
not that.
It does
It's
have
not that.
there.
You have to take in the commercial businesses that are there currently. If it was vacant, cool.
They might
We
as
could have,
well. You know,
you know what we could have do, Darren. You know we could do it. We could have do it in Kmart West parking lot.
it's true.
That is a good point. No, honestly, that's a good point.
Facts.
'Cause remember that building is all of that's empty.
But
That's a
but
good point.
bring it
But that's a
back up.
but you see my difference is it's empty.
It's true. It's
That
true.
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good
You are
point.
correct. That's an awesome point. All right. Let me see what else. What the name is? Email had to say. Let's see. Crucian Christmas Festival is the primary event. Privately promoted events should work around the festival schedule, not the other way around. People will go to what they want to go to. There is enough for everyone to enjoy and be merry. On this point, I think that they need to make it so there's not that many events at the same day. Like, I think there's not enough people to fill up all of these events at the same time, and it causes an issue to where everybody can make money, especially the vendors and the village. But go ahead.
My only thought is the Crucian Christmas Festival organization. That's their organization. What people choose privately created events choose to do and promote is not necessarily them. What I will say is the promoters need to get together and plan out their calendar to make sure they're all whatever events they're having work seamlessly. Some I do agree you can't have more than one thing on one night because not everything fits everybody. So I don't want to say that you should just have one event per night after village because the village that's not everybody's thing. So I don't necessarily agree, but I do think there should be some type of collaboration in terms of who's scheduling what when and making it work. But I do like the village being done by 1:30, 2 a.m. I do like that it's done that time. Because if you think about it, by the time you really clear out the area, it's about 3 o'clock.
I I'm not saying just one event. I'm saying like when there's four events that same day, people are losing money. You're actually losing money. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have four events and Synchro, you only have so many people on, like you're giving one thing about it, if you give people too many options, you're going to lose.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Like
Woo!
that's a fact. You get them
So
five
I think
events, you're gonna lose money.
they got coordinated in advance. So I think again, things in advance, flesh it out. Do whatever it is, right? So again, like I was saying, like at a September, October, not only the lineup should be out, but also these events, and then like it should be probably at, like a cap with two events per night, or whatever it is, from the 26th until Adults Parade, or actually technically today because it has stuff going on last lap and those kind of things. So plan it out. Like let's not have so much things overlap. I agree with that because you have to pick. Yeah, you got.
You have to.
Hmm. And then also on top of these events, I don't even need to follow the division of tourism, whatever. But make sure that everybody could buy online tickets in advance. Cause remember the people that live here now. 'Cause it ain't just us going to it. It's people flying in or whatever. And even if we, like I said, we want to be, we want to have people from the outside come in or whatever. You have to make it more convenient and allow them to buy tickets in advance.
One thing me and Nisi have learned from throwing events ourselves, VIP people do not like to purchase tickets in advance. They
No,
do not.
that's what I'm saying. It's mainly for those coming from away. That's all I talk about for those.
Option should be there, yes. But VIP people do not even like that option. I'm telling you.
I agree. I understand. I understand. I get it.
All right. What? All right. Where we at? 10?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
was
we're
lit.
kind
I
of
think.
done. Yeah.
Done. So I am grateful for all who participated, and I am most grateful for the fact that we had a safe, incident-free Crucian Christmas Festival, except for Cheddar Bob, who did himself in. Kudos to all who made that happen. Note that the above are just suggestions to consider. I'm sure there are others, but I think this is a start. Christmas time is my favorite time of the year, and the Crucian Christmas Festival creates a feeling you just can't get anywhere else. Hope we never lose that. Bless up. Thank you, Emil. This was a great post, a lot of great suggestions, because that's what we love. We love
Yes.
options, suggestions, not just complaints. And unfortunately, Darren, like I'm all about collaboration, but a mutual friend of ours, he told me straight, promoters will never get together and do that because he
I know that. I know that. That's why I say it gotta be intervention with festivals or whatever. You gotta intervene. But wait, let me see. Before we go, I know you say it was like
what? Will you say it again?
Nisi was the camel fit, right?
Were you? Nisi? Camel Fed?
What's the question?
What happened in camel fit? 'Cause they had a little bit of controversy there.
With what? With the thing that fall over, with the thing falling over?
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
gotta
see
talk.
that.
So for
I
those who
didn't.
don't know,
I didn't
we,
see.
I want to say for like a better term, a person decided to climb up on the lights came down and actually injured one of the performers in that event.
Yes, I heard or I saw after the fact. I didn't see it
Anytime.
happen live.
So we do want to say for the people that were injured, we first stay off for them people thing. And also we want to say we hope that whoever was injured, we did hear people were injured. We hope a speedy recovery and they're not down for too long. But we
Speedy
have to come
recovery.
here, come off the People Love Radio. It was a great show. Thank you both for coming on. Any last words, real quick?
Yeah, so next year, nobody don't ask me where Jah there. I'll go and DM Jah himself and ask you where he there. Okay, I not Jah keeper. I want
That
Jah to be here. I tell you when to come, but he play brace and think he grown, and he know he grown. Okay, so check him next year. Don't check me. But until then, I had an amazing experience. Thanks for everyone involved, everyone who made an effort to host an event, tried an event, or an experience. We appreciate all your efforts. I know it's a lot of work and it's not in vain. We appreciate you trying to give us the best experience we could this year.
Darren, what's your final words? Real quick, real quick.
Hey, calm down next year. And big ups to everybody who celebrated, had a good time. Big ups to the promoters, big ups to the organizer, big ups to Division of Festival, big up to every single person that was made this. We had a good time. It was better than we expected. Let's do it better for next year.
We on the
And
road.
something, sir, coming up. The clubhouse.
Yes. So yes, tomorrow we are doing the carnival wrap up. Every single thing. So find me, Daren Georges. You're gonna see the link. Come through tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We're gonna talk about everything. And we're gonna have a great time having a discussion, man. So just come through. And don't forget also, I also have a podcast. At Doc 340, we coming back with a new season for 2025. I hope to have both of you guys to come on. But yeah, we coming back strong. So we're on some great things for 2025. So but yeah, so tune in tomorrow night. Find my I'm gonna put it out, I'm gonna share it. Come through tomorrow 8 p.m. We talk about Carnival wrap up and Clubhouse. Link up VI, we in the building.
All right. This has been another great episode of A Different Day with Ja
Your tired girl Nisi.
and
Darren, your favorite East Side guy.
peace, love. Till next week. See you. Woo, I hope we went over. I hope I don't hear about it. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. This was great. When I listen. You ain't mentioned I've been home 3 or 4 times last year, but
That's
it's
not
fine.
that don't matter. That don't matter.
That's anyway. I
Festival is festival is Darren, you know what people press me what it's doing? Some of them ain't
I
even
could
know.
imagine.
Some of
I
them ain't
can.
even know. They didn't even ask me how I doing. They was like, when y'all coming? I didn't even got go morning, afternoon. Hey, nice to see you. And listen to the show. No, when y'all coming? I don't know his itinerary. What do you mean? If anybody know, you know. I don't know.
I
I
gonna
was
be
like two peas in a pod.
not only for festival, but there are plans in the works. Stay tuned. Same difference doing big things. 101.3 doing big things. I stay tuned, man. Next week, same time, same place. Unless we get fired, we gonna be here. All right. Love you guys. Peace.
Peace.